there, it's Ingrid. Welcome back. Today we're going to use a little bit of mixed media and combine it with some clean and simple design. We're going to use a jelly plate to create this very cute but simple monoprint. Monoprinting is a process where you can only pull one print from your printing plate, in this case a jelly plate. So why don't we get started? I'm going to start off using Rose Red by Reeves, and this is just a nice kind of bright, it's not even red, it's really more pinkish. And we're just going to get our jelly plate all covered here. Just going to kind of spread that out in a nice even manner. Just want to make sure that I can get good coverage here. I'm using a Tim Holtz stencil, which does not go the width of the plate, so I don't really need it to be completely covered. And I'm going to actually try and pull a little bit of this off because I don't want it to be so in your face bright. And to pull it off, I just rubbed off a lot of my paint off onto the scrap piece and then just continued to roll my roller over that, and that helped lift some of that paint off, and that's key for this particular project. Just putting down my stencil, and this is lattice work by the Tim Holtz collection, and I love this, it's a beautiful stencil. And I'm gonna pull the positive print here. If you don't want it to be completely bold, you just want it in spots, just tap your fingers down where you want it. You can see I've kind of missed a couple spots there, and that's the look I'm going for. And then I'm gonna lift this up, and I've got this great, pretty texture down, and we'll just go ahead and pull that up as well. I'm just gonna use a piece of scrap paper to kind of get the rest. And this will be a really nice print right there, and see how it's kind of a little bit more subtle? That's what I was going for. I'm gonna just pull whatever's left as a ghost print, and I didn't really see very much there. So yeah, and nothing's coming up, so that's fine. So now I'm loving this print. This is what I was looking for. I had done this previously, and it was just a little too bright. And while I will definitely use this for a project, it wasn't what I really had in mind. I wanted a little bit more of the light kind of shining through. So that was why I pulled a little bit more of that ink off. Now I'm gonna go ahead and add down some flowers, and this is using the Bloom Silhouette stencil by Artplorations. We'll just kind of put that down there, and I'm gonna need a little bit of black ink. So I'm just gonna open this back up to where I had that. And I just need it in specific spots, so I'm just going to choose to apply this with my brayer. You can apply this however you want. This is some Payne's Gray. It's not black, it's actually a really, really dark, cool gray. And this is what I choose to use rather than using black all the time. Black sometimes is just really dark, and although this is a dark color in itself, I just kind of like it better. And this is what I use in watercoloring as well. I also use this color. My favorite dark color, and it's a great color to make other colors darker as well if you don't have the correct shade of whatever it is that you're looking for. Just want to add a little, get there, kind of get these flowers. And what I'm looking for here is I'm going to have all the silhouettes of all these flowers with some acrylic paint. And that's going to be a really nice contrast. Being very careful not to go over my edge here. Can't quite get into that. There we go. Just want to make sure I have plenty of paint in there. Got a little tiny bit there, but that's okay. Let's pull up our stencil, lay that off to the side. And then I'm going to take my awesome print that we just created, lay that down, and pick this up. You're always going to want to burnish with the back of your hand, and that's really going to help the paint to transfer to your paper. Awesome. And how's that for a mono print? I'm loving this. Get whatever's left. And I'm gonna go clean everything. You know, I did forget to do one thing, and so I'm just gonna do it quickly in this spot right here. It's probably best that I do this in pieces anyway, only because I didn't want this to dry too much. You see, I already couldn't pull up all of it. I'm just gonna get a little tiny bit more Payne's Gray down. And I have the inside, this is one of those wrappers for a Starbucks cup. And this is just a really nice corrugated cardboard here. I'm just gonna kind of get a little bit of this paint going on here. And this creates some very interesting and unique textures. I love using this. I use it all the time. And we're just gonna add some different texture to our project. That's going to give us a little bit of interest. Place that back down. Monoprinting is really about creating one unique, interesting print, and look at that. And I probably could have done that in a different color as well, but I like it. Let's see if we can't pull a little tiny bit more, going in a different direction over those flowers, and that works. I like it. I like creating different textures, using some everyday pieces. I think that sometimes it just creates that really interesting visual character in your monoprints and in your projects. Next, we're going to go into clean and simple design and what exactly I do to make my cards visually appealing. So I have two pieces here. I have this piece, which is the monoprint that we created, and you can see that I cut it down. I wanted a little bit less of this black down here. I wanted really the focal images to be that. I wanted this to support it. So I cut it down a little bit, and that we're gonna put that onto a card. And this is actually the first piece that we pulled when we pulled the positive print out from this part, and that's how this part got so white. You know, we lifted a little bit of the paint up with our actual brayer, and then we put another sheet down, and this was actually the first print, what was left. So I'm gonna create a card out of this as well. I've trimmed this down, and I have this great stamp set by Create a Smile, and this is a new stamp set. This stamp set was just released, and they have it in both German and English. Now, I'm actually German and American, so I speak both languages, so I have it in both because it's great for me, and I love it. I love the size, I love the greetings. And so I'm just gonna get that inked up really quickly. I went ahead and put a little bit of de-static tool down here because I don't want anything to stick. So I'm gonna take some VersaFine, which is favorite black pigment ink. I'm just gonna get that inked up really well. And I'm just gonna pop this right here. Now, because this is such a great background and I don't want to have any, you know, stray little pieces of black, I learned from my friend Laurel to always use clear embossing powder when you're doing this. You can even teach me something after all these years. Now, it's not like I hadn't done that before, but really I'd never really thought about it, and I always get frustrated having those little stray black pieces always there. Clear won't bother me as much. So then we'll go ahead and heat set this. Now for me, you always want to preheat your heat tool. That's just the way that I am. And so that way it's gonna heat really quickly, because remember, this is paint behind it too. You know, you don't really want to have that much heat for too long of an extended period on that. And there you go, look at that. I mean, I love that contrast, isn't that amazing? So we'll get that set up onto a white card base and just leave it nice, clean, and simple. I'm gonna play along with a new challenge. They've been around for a few months, the CAS, Clean and Simple Mix It Up Challenge by my friends Bonnie and Lol. It's a great challenge. It's a way to mix and combine mixed media, but in a clean and simple style. Everybody can do that, and if you've never done mixed media, it's a great way to just kind of get into it. So to complete our card, I have a black base, a white base, and then we also have a gray base. And just to kind of give you an idea here, this is pretty cool. I like gray and pink together. I think it's a really nice combination, and this would actually be a very nice card. And then here's the white, of course, classic, clean and simple, right? I mean, this works for just about anybody. We're gonna add sequins to this just to kind of give it a little bit extra flair. But look at the black. I mean, that's a wow. That's a real big pop. And I'm not really one to usually have a very dark base like this all the time. I do use brown a lot, and I do use black, but usually you don't see so much of it. But as far as clean and simple goes, I mean, this is perfect. I love it, and I love that we have a little bit of missing pattern there. It really shows that, you know, it's kind of more of an art piece rather than just something that's just stamped, and that's what the acrylic paint and the monoprinting does. So we'll create that one, and then for this card, I definitely want to keep this a little bit more on the white side, and we'll just get that a little bit more offset with a simple greeting, and we're good to go. You know, clean and simple design is about a few things. First off, you need a lot of white space, and that doesn't necessarily mean white cardstock. You see, we have a fair amount of white border going around, and that complements the card. but kind of our trellis in the background, that's kind of a dead area. So that's kind of supporting the white space theory. Now in our other project, we have a lot of black cardstock there, and that really is the white space to this. Now we have this great bold background piece, and that really is the focal point of the card. To support it, we added a bold greeting. So that's really important. And then the sequins in 5. All odd numbers and things of 3 or 5 are key in clean and simple design, and just design period. Now on this card, you can see we added that small little greeting there. The silhouettes are kind of dainty, and you know, those stems are really kind of frail. So if you look at it head on, the small greeting actually is perfect because it doesn't take away from the card, it actually adds to the card. Also something that's important in clean and simple design. Notice that the kind of grungy marks that we made with the Starbucks cup holder, those are also positioned in 3s and 5s. Again, simple little paper piercing at the top and bottom of each thing. We have varying mats. That's the last principle that in my personal design is key. I always want to make sure, notice those black mats, they're not the same as the white right next to them. When you have those varying widths, that really helps support your project. And here's another great shot of it. Thanks so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe to the channel. I have a lot of great content that I put out weekly, and I would love to see you here. If you want to know a little bit more, I have a great complimentary blog article to this video, and that you'll find in the little See More section down below, as well as a couple other links that I have there. One to the challenge. Give the Clean and Simple Mix It Up Challenge a try. If you're just kind of interested in mixed media, you're not really sure if you want to kind of step into it, you don't have to do a monoprint. Mixed media is basically just combining medias. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.